Yo, what's up, Speaker Kid 98 here, and
his brother, Richard.
And welcome to Nostalgia Overdrive Reborn. Now yeah, I know it's been a very fucking long time since the actual last video, although originally it was actually a dedicated YouTube channel, but now it's just going to be a series on this channel. And yesterday I actually made an intro as well.
It's Sega.
Yeah, that's the Master System version, because I wanted like an 8-bit version. I wanted like the 8-bit version because like Sonic and Mega Man.
I just remember when I got the Mega CD when it first came out. I went to Dixon's, remember Dixon's, the electric shop?
I remember Dixon's, yeah.
I was working the shipyards and I was actually off for the week. I was on the sick. Back then you could just have time off. I had the Master System, and I mean back then they were still paying like £30 for a game.
Yeah.
For a cartridge. And it was a lot of money back then, in the early 90s. And I remember going down, my dad was in the house. Well, I went to town and I got the Mega Drive. And I come back home and it had a catalogue for the Mega CD actually in the box.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, and I mean back then, before kids and that, I had plenty of money. And I jumped straight in the bus back to town, got the Mega CD, and you got like a disc with 5 games on. It was Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, Sonic, and there was a couple of other ones. Oh, there was Tetris, and another one, I can't think what the other one was. When you first put it on, when you set it all up, and it came up, and the sound CD quality,
yeah,
it was unreal for back then. And I just loved the Sega gear, the stuff that Sega brought. I was always a Sega, never a Nintendo person.
Well, it was always back in the day with like the sound quality. When CD quality finally came out, because back in the day, like these old consoles weren't actually capable of running CD quality audio, because they'd have to like crunch it down into like a sound font, like the NES with like the Blippy Bloppy and the Genesis with the Yamaha sound chip and everything. But actually, here's another fun fact. I'm not sure if it's still accurate to this day, but at least from like a couple of years ago, the Genesis or Mega Drive is still pretty popular in Brazil to this day. And like apparently, I think it's like Tectoy. I think they're called Tectoy. They're not like bootleg manufacturers. They're actually like officially licensed, like brand new Genesis consoles. Like that Sega say, yeah, that's fine, because Brazil is such a poor country that they can't really afford, you know, those bigger consoles.
I mean, when I look on eBay for games for the Mega CD, and it's funny because some people advertising still factory sealed.
Yeah.
And you think, you know, are they still factory sealed, or have you just got like one of these machines that you can seal them yourself and sell them as factory sealed?
Yeah, you can never tell with that sort of thing.
Right. It's amazing how someone would actually hang on to a game for like 20 plus years without actually opening it.
There was like a infamous thing with the Super Mario Brothers cartridge that sold for over $1 million. It was like, I think it was like sealed and everything, and everyone was just like, $1 million for a copy of Super Mario, like one of the most ported games of all time, and one of the most common games. It's not like Nintendo World Championship, or it's the Nintendo World Championship version of Super Mario Bros. It's just common Super Mario Bros. That anyone can get. Like, we could go to a retro game shop, it'd probably be right there, and yet one sold online for over $1 million fucking dollars.
See, the thing is, I mean, like I was showing you last week or the week before, the price of them on eBay.
Yeah.
300-400 quid for a console. Now, people are selling the sentiments.
Yeah.
Sentimental value. Oh, I've had this since I was a kid. You're not wanting to buy their sentimental value.
You just want it to put on a shelf.
And the thing is, that game, console or cartridge or CD is only worth what somebody wants to pay for it.
Anyway, we should actually start doing what the purpose of the video is. We should start talking about our upbringing with retro stuff. Like, you can see, like, I was very much Nintendo stuff. Like, I have like an Xbox and a PS2 and PS1, but most of it is just like Nintendo stuff. And obviously you grew up with the Sega stuff, which is with the intro, like the Sonic and Mega Man's like Sega and Nintendo. So I actually have one question for you. What was the last recently released, well not recently released, you know, like canonically like releasing games, you know what I mean? What was the last released Sonic game that you ever played? That's not including re-releases, by the way.
No, I only played Sonic. On the Master System, I played Sonic and Sonic the second one.
Yeah.
Mega Drive / Mega CD, it was the same. I didn't feel I enjoyed them as much once you had like Flicker. Was it not Flicker? The Flicky. When you had other characters in the game.
Well, the Flickies are actually the names of the animals that you saved from the bad mix.
So you know the...
Oh, you mean like Tails and...
Tails, yes. Once you had them following them, and then it went all 3D. I mean, I grew up with just 2D platform games.
Yeah.
And that's what I like, a 2D platform game. You could stick any 2D platform game in front of me and I'd love to play it. Especially Sonic, the original one on the Master System was the only one I ever completed.
Right.
And that was the only one I actually went back and got all the emeralds.
Yeah. Well, there was actually in the first game, I'm not sure about the Master System version, I might need a fun fact up in editing right now. But I know the original Genesis or Mega Drive version only had 6. I'm not sure about the Master System version, but I think since they were made...
There was only 6 levels on the Master System.
Yeah, then it was only 6 emeralds. Actually, here's a question. Have you ever played any of the Game Gear Sonic games? And I don't mean like Sonic 1 Master System, Sonic 2 Master System, Downport. I mean like the exclusive games. There was like Tails Sky Patrol, Tails Adventure, there was another one I think.
No, as I say, it was just the actual Sonic 1 and 2. I mean, I'm not like I just like an easy game. I like something that aren't complete. That's why I never went. Yes, I got the PlayStation 2, the PlayStation 1, and I got the PlayStation 4, which I didn't use much. I got the PlayStation 4, and what I bought the disc with all the Sega games on.
Yeah, the Sega Mega Drive and Genesis Classics.
Yes,
actually,
I got that.
Actually, over here, was it just called like the physical the physical disc? Was it just called the Mega Drive Classics, or was it actually like Sega Genesis and Mega Drive Classics?
Just Mega Drive Classics.
Right, okay. You know, each of those games are actually on Steam as like the Sega Genesis and Mega Drive Classics, but each of them are sold separately for some reason. You don't just like buy the entire collection. I mean, you can with a bundle, but each of them are sold separately.
So I mean, you think about it, the people who develop and make the games, they can't just make that game and sell it. Once everybody's got it, they're not going to make any money off it. Yeah. So that's why obviously they're bringing different versions out, different platforms out.
I mean, Sonic 1 has been ported so many bloody times. Like, I mean, there's obviously the original version, then there's the mobile version, then I think there's like a second mobile version, which was Christian Whitehead's version, which was the widescreen one. After he was brought on from the Sonic CD port, there's I think it was like a DS collection. There was the Sonic Jam version. There was the 3D Classics collection version. There's so many fucking versions of Sonic 1 that are available. One thing I really like is when a game changed the graphics, or it's like, now it's 3D from a 2D sprite, but then for a newer game they go back to the old like design. It's like Mega Man did that as well, because like Mega Man 1 through 6 were on the NES, and the SNES one came out and it was like they changed the graphics. And then the PS1 version came out, they changed it again slightly, but then 9 came out on the WiiWare and it went back to the NES style. But that was probably because back in those days, like Mega Man X7 was just such a complete flop, because that was back in the PS2 era, where every game had to be 3D. Oh yeah, this game that's commonly like a 2D sprite on a 2D plane, easy to control. No, we need to make everything 3D, and it was a complete flop.
Burn to the ground, burn to the ground, burn to the...
A lot of people I know like to have a wall full of the games where they can see them with cartridges.
Yeah.
And like, for one instance, I used to have Streets of Rage 1 and 2. Now to buy them on like eBay, you're talking 20 quid each. Go to Streets of Rage 3, you look up, it's £100.
Jesus Christ.
Yet you buy that CD for the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
And you've got the 3 of them on there. And I don't know what it is with people or what goes through the mind, but I've got the cartridges and I've got that game. Now you play the cartridges on a telly and it's brilliant, it fits, it sounds good, but you put the CD in, put it on the telly, the gameplay isn't as good.
I mean, there are some times when people say, no matter how good the emulation is, no matter how accurate it is, people say, like purists say, probably like you, there's nothing like playing like an old Genesis or Mega Drive game or an NES game or whatever on an old CRT, like that. I'm not sure if that's a CRT, but like with the official controller, it's like, oh, you play it with an Xbox 360 or an Xbox One controller on a PC or a console. It's just not the same. The buttons don't feel right or something like that. And honestly, I don't really mind either way.
I mean, it's like the Master System. I love that. The control pads must be about that. About 4 inches by 1.5 inches, 2 inches. And you've got A, B in your little pad. You know, just playing that, you've got this tiny little square pad. And you've got very limited manoeuvres and moves you can actually do on a game.
Yeah.
But the gameplay to me is better than when you've got all these fingers doing this on a PlayStation 4 or 5. You've got all them buttons and
most of them don't even get used.
But the Master System, the control pad was so basic, but it's so enjoyable. I mean, I would rather plug my Master System in than plug the PlayStation 4 in and play like the retro games the way they should have been played.
I mean, there have been times where I've put in a disc to like my PS2 or something, despite the fact that PS2 emulation exists, or like putting on a PS1 game into my PS2 or booting up a Wii game on my Wii U, despite the fact that emulators exist, but it's just there's nothing like actually playing them. I mean, there's some emulators like Dolphin, for example, which is a Wii and GameCube emulator that actually allow you to use an actual Wii mode.
It was like when I brought that plug and play down the other week.
Yeah, it was so strange to feel a Genesis or Mega Drive controller in my hand, because I'm so used to doing it like that.
But when you play it though, when you play like say, because we'll have a Sonic and Golden Axe and a couple others, when you play them games on that with that control pad, it feels like it's suited properly for that game. Not like if you'd had one of them where there's just so many buttons that it's just pointless being on the controller.
I understand, like it's strange when you're like playing a Wii game with a controller, because you're so used to like even with like the classic controller or whatever, it doesn't feel like this. Like it's completely straight. Throw up a picture of the classic controller for the Wii, and even with games that don't support it, obviously this particular controller doesn't have any like motion controls or anything in it. It's like when they actually re-released, or they remastered The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword for the Switch, which was a Wii game that used a thing called the Wii Motion Plus, because the Wii Mote wasn't exactly the best at detecting like finite movements. It was basically like you swing it, the character swings, or it's like, oh, you move it. But it's like the Wii Motion Plus was like finite movements, like, oh, it knows you're slicing like that, it knows you're slicing like that. Then they ported that to the Switch, which does have motion controls, but it's not really the same thing. So they just said, we'll map some of the swinging to buttons on the controller.
Well, there's a lot of them Wii controls actually ended up through the telly, wasn't it?
It's like that one infamous meme of like what's it called again, where it's like a channel dedicated to just advertising your shit.
Oh yeah, telly shopping.
Yeah, there was one like an infamous meme of a guy like playing Wii Sports, and every single time I see that, I'm just thinking, Jesus Christ, back off. Like he's right fucking.
That's gonna go through the telly. That.
Yeah, it's like it didn't go through the telly. It's just like you're just like, oh, he's playing tennis. Smash! There was another one with someone threw the Wiimote by accident and completely smashed it. Like not just leaving a crack, like completely fucking smashed the TV. And I'm just thinking, put on the strap and back the fuck off.
I mean, you got all these middle-aged mothers and all that. Not want to stereotype middle-aged mothers. They've got the fitness app on the Wii, and they were shaking the little control pads and
Wii Fit.
Wii Fit and all that, and you think.
You know, I used to actually have a balance board. I think I left it over my mother's old house. But I used to have a balance board, but I never bloody used it because I don't even think I had Wii Fit or any games that supported the Wii balance board, so it was just a useless hunk of plastic. And for the Wii, for example, there were so many bloody accessories for the Wii, for the Wiimotes, but they were all just bloody plastic.
Now, like, can I just put in, because I've just got something in mind I've just thought of.
Go on.
When I had the Master System, there was a hunting game. And it actually came with a light gun that you plugged into your control port.
Wasn't it called the Sega Justifier?
Nope.
No, it was actually this one. You were just hunting animals, and they were going along the screen, and we were just hunting them. And It was a good game, but what I couldn't get, yes, you plugged it in, but how did it know where you were actually hitting on the screen?
I actually know how. You might notice that whenever you fired, like the screen flashed a bit. It's the way they did it is that you put a track in, you put like a tracker on, and what it did was it essentially like flashed the screen black with a little white crosshair where the sensor knew you were pointing. So it was basically it was some weird stuff. It was weird. It was the same way the NES did it. It basically just like I don't know why. Like it was very, very primitive because
so I could never figure it out. I thought, well, your television isn't like touchscreen, and this is just what you plugged into the control port, and you're just aiming at these ducks and animals. And how does it know you've actually hit the duck? Does it just take a percentage? Oh, we'll give them this. No, we're not going to give them that.
No, it was actually the sensor, which is why if you have like an NES Zapper sensor or like the Genesis sensor or Master System sensor, they don't work on modern TVs because I believe it's something to do with like CRT TVs having something in them. It's really technical. After this video is over, I'll try and look it up and I'll probably put up in editing. Also, I think we've been recording for quite a while. You wanna say anything else quickly?
Yes, stay safe, and the government is watching.
Comedy.
Woo, cuckoo.
Well, I don't really know what outro to do for Nostalgia Overdrive Reborn because I would usually just do my old one, but I don't know, so...
Keep playing retro games. They'll never go out of fashion.
I guess that. Keep playing retro games, they'll never go out of fashion.
Yeah.
We've been Nostalgia Overdrive Reborn, and whatever, it's just like, I don't fucking know.